Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, course repeaters, and second-year students, greetings from Saxgourmet World Headquarters here at the birthplace of jazz, New Orleans. Now we got a special, one-time only appearance from the professor himself, Paul R. Coates, who has absolutely thrilled me with his presence. Now I want to explain that Paul advises me on my designs from the very beginning. I discuss everything with him ahead of time. Paul is a distinguished clinician. He's forgotten more about mouthpieces than I'll probably ever know. He's taught me a lot. He's been evaluating the final end product today. We're going to talk about the Voodoo Rex alto and later the category 5 tenor. So Paul, you've played the Voodoo Rex. What do you think?
It's got a beautiful tone. I mean, it's a big, rich, dark, just complex tone that I haven't heard one like this before. Is it the copper that does this?
It's 100% copper, bell, body, bow, and neck. The copper has a special type of annealing that we've done to it, and it gives it an unbelievable, dark, very centered tone with all kind of complex overtones and stuff. I was thinking about Johnny Hodges and Marshall Royal and those rich, fat alto sounds. You know, right. I think modern altos sound too thin, too shrill.
Well, you know, we talked about that. If I want a thin, bright tone, I can always turn on the EQ. You know, but there's times when you want to fill up a ballroom with just straight alto sound, and you want that classic, not classical, that classic alto sound like you hear in the old black and white movies. And this is.
That's it. Yes. Now we put a couple of other features on this that players ask for. We've got roll tone holes everywhere, of course. We went ahead and engraved all the keys. Now because altos tend to get a little bit out of tune on the very upper end of the horn, we put a special high note compensator up here, and you got to admit that works. Those palm keys are dead on.
Right, they are.
Also, I was very conscious of the feel of the horn. You know, we got great build quality on this, but on so many altos, the upper stack feels, don't you think, imprecise?
Right.
So what we did to correct that is we changed the geometry and we added some extra large feet up here. No other alto has that. Repositioned the front F, and man, it just plays.
It does.
It just plays. Intonation is spot on, I think. Let's hear a little bit of this. Boy, you talk about filling up the room.
Yes.
Yeah, but we're really happy with this. The price is right on this. It's about half the price of the competition. The overall feel.
Oh yeah.
You know,
it's just as solid as it can be. Like the precision, it feels more precise and tight on the upper stack. No sponginess at all to it. It's that equally good, precise feel on the bottom. Yeah. Just like your Barry and your tenors.
Yeah, and I think everything fits the hands too.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
It's comfortable. We didn't put the keys too close together. And I think so many altos suffer from that.
Well, so many altos, the keys are too close together and the Barrys are too far apart, and they're not right. Now your horns, they all feel the same. I know you notice that feel carries on to the sopranos that you.
Well, we've tried. Yeah. We've tried. So let's put this one down. You know, over the years, Paul's visited with us a number of times and advising us on different projects, eating at the better restaurants, going to the better night spots, you know, introducing him to my buddies.
Steve invited us to come over one night, my oldest son and I, my grown son, and we went down to the 544 Club on Bourbon Street, and it's 544 Bourbon Street, and to hear Gary Brown. We get to the door, and the doorman says, "Good evening, Mr. Goodson. We have a table for you right down front here." And we go sit down, and Gary Brown is up there singing and rocking and rolling and R&B-ing and funking, and he sees us and he waves at us and comes out and sits there. I said, Steve has some stroke in this town.
Yeah. Well, they kind of know me at that joint.
They do, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, it was all good stuff, too.
Well, yeah.
So,
That's right. Well, you know, the home folks know you best.
Yes, that's right.
The home folks, and you know, when the bouncer calls you Mr. Goodson,
yes,
you're doing
right.
all right. Now, this, of course, is, I like to think of all of my horns as being Cadillac quality, but this is the Rolls-Royce. There's nothing quite like a handmade saxophone, and very, very few people on this planet have ever experienced one. You have, Paul.
Yes.
Tell me what you think.
Well, first thing that struck my eyes was the beautiful copper color and the contrasting abalone pearls.
And that's deep water abalone. That's not regular abalone. I paid a lot extra for this multicolored, rich abalone.
Just like jewels, just like jewelry.
It costs like
beautiful.
jewelry.
Everything is engraved on here. And then I noticed of course, the double arms on the low notes, and just the entire mechanism, everything about it. One thing that, from a repair point of view, seeing so many horns damaged, this bridge across here, this extra brace here, bracing all this upper.
Yeah, I've had to fix too many like that. And this unique brace supports that table. And also,
and then up here too, yes, I noticed that.
Because so many horns take a lick right there and it bends those long rods. We also, on that sort of thing, we added an extra key guard, separate key guards for the B and the B flat. This is unique to the Category 5. You can't even get your finger under there.
Right.
It protects these keys, which are always damaged. Another couple of things from just a maintenance point of view, we also have back here our F-sharp key guard for the chromatic F-sharp is screw removable. Anytime you have to work on that key, you can get to it. So,
I see the little F-sharp helper. There it is.
Yeah.
The F-sharp helper and just a number of things on here.
We've got an adjusting screw on the bis as well, because that's the most common adjustment on a saxophone. And man, you can do it while the piano player takes a solo.
And you don't have the big, thick, spongy feel under there, the big, thick, spongy pad, the felt under there.
Right.
And this low C is sculpted kind of in a shape that it makes it easier to, makes it so much easier to play. You don't have to
lock the little finger. Yeah. Now, on playing this thing, now the horn's got four, count them, 4 octave vents. And I think that's part of the secret of the design. But, you know, let's hear just a little of it and we'll talk about this.
Just effortless.
Yeah, you can think about the note and
it just comes out. It just flows out.
Now, the intonation on this is absolutely the best on any saxophone I've ever tried. 1, 2, 3, 4 octave vents would do that.
It's doing the job.
Yeah, and another thing, of course, we have quite a big bore. This is a big fat sounding horn, but the real secret is the metal. The metal that we used on this, we're using a very, very unique and proprietary alloy of rose brass. I'm not going to tell you the recipe, just like Colonel Sanders would never tell you his recipe, but you know, that's what gives it that big singing voice and the complexity of the sound. Another thing that certainly doesn't hurt is that we let the entire end of the bell vibrate because we have a most unusual and unique bell to body brace. On your saxophone, it's got a brace up here. Right. Well, that stifles the vibration at the end of the bell. This lets the whole bell ring. And here you can also see the engraving, even on the bow down there.
The other thing I noticed was the location of the side keys and the palm keys are right under your fingers where they need to be. And like we were discussing, it's not so much the height of the palm and side keys, it's where they're positioned. And these fall right under the hands, and your Barry sax is the same way. The first time I played it, I couldn't find the side keys, and I realized they're where they should be.
Well, yeah. We lowered these a good bit. These are probably half an inch or so lower. Right. But see your hands in the perfect playing position. You should.
I don't have to move my hand to play B flat, and move my hand very little to play the C.
Why should you? Why should you ever get out of the playing position?
And I don't have to move my hand at all to play the palm keys.
Yeah.
They're right under there.
Yeah. And you'll notice we repositioned the front F to say, no, you don't have to come back around. Yeah. It's right there.
Right, yeah.
It's where it ought to be.
Yeah.
The main thing that other guys have told me is just the overall feel. You know, you pay a lot for that last 5% of quality but you can tell.
Yes, yeah, you can feel it. Everything's, it's like the stroke of the keys is just perfect. It's positively closed, positively open. There's no sponginess to any of the keys. Everything's precise feeling.
Yeah, those are solid copper resonators that we had specially made by our friends at Music Medic on kangaroo leather pads. So, man, this has been a great visit. You've had some other memorable visits, but this is the best. And Paul, I thank you for your comments.
I really enjoyed playing the horns.
Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, remember, practice long tones every day and keep your reed wet. Goodbye for now.